On today's episode of the Duck Zone 503 podcast, we're going to be previewing the Oregon football offense going into 2023. This is part one of the offensive preview where we preview the new offensive coordinator for the Ducks, quarterbacks, and running backs. I'm your host, Dominiqk Peterson. This is the Duck Zone 503 podcast where we talk all things Oregon football. Let's get into it, baby.
Welcome to the Duck Zone 503 podcast. Talking all things Oregon football. With your host, Dominiqk Peterson. Let's go.
Welcome into today's edition of the Duck Zone 503 podcast. The date is Monday, August 21st, 2023, and I am happy to be with you people. Would you look at that, guys? We are officially 12 days away from actual football being played in Autzen Stadium. I can almost smell that tailgate. Burgers, hot dogs, wings, whatever you guys are making, steaks, chips, salsa. You know the brews are coming out, man. I can't wait as the day ever so approaches. Guys, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. If you're watching, we're getting close to our goal. 1,000 subscribers is our goal. We're getting there ever so closely. Tell your friends and family, your bros, your sisters, your cousins. You know what to do. Tell even your dog and your cat, man. You know they're Duck fans too. All right, guys. So today we're going to do part one of previewing the Oregon offense. But first, Monday mailbag time. New segment that we're going to be doing here on the podcast every Monday. As you know, new shows Monday and Wednesday weekly. So tune in every week, Monday and Wednesday. On Monday, we're going to do the Monday mailbag every Monday. I'm going to be answering some of your guys' questions to the best of my ability. As you know, I'm no expert. I'm no former player. I'm no former coach. I'm just a fan with an opinion, but still, that's why I love to do this, because this is a fan-based podcast. This is for the fan, by the fan. So if you guys have a question that you want to be featured in a future episode, just DM me on social media accounts. You can see the ticker right here at DuckZone503, or you could just go ahead right now and drop them in the comments below. If you don't want to go ahead and do all that, feel free. So we're going to pull up the first one here. We got at BodeDude12s on Instagram asks, quote, will Oregon get any 5 stars in the 2024 class? Question mark. Predictions for recruiting? Question mark. Now, Oregon currently does not have a 5-star signed to this class, the 2024 class. Now, they did sign one in 2023 for this coming class, right? That was Jerion Dickey. Some of you might say, wait, hold on. Didn't they sign 2? Mateo Igagle? I thought that too. After doing some research, it looks like he was a 5-star for a while, but towards the end of his recruitment, as he committed to the Ducks, how ironic, right? 247 Sports had him downgraded to a 4-star when it was all said and done. So, at the end of the day, according to 247 Sports, Oregon signs one 5-star in 2023, which isn't bad, right? Back in 10 years ago, Oregon could barely get 4 stars coming here. So it's good to see this coming in. You know, recruiting is building over the years, but you're right. Fans are kind of sounding the alarm like, man, what's kind of happened? Dan Lanning, man, we missed out on a couple 5 stars now. The Ducks have been in it for Elijah Rushing, Justin Williams, Nate Frazier, and a couple other 5 stars till the very end. Okay, they've been right there. Now, the team that's been the culprit for stealing a lot of these 5 stars away is the Georgia Bulldogs, okay? We've been getting a lot of these 5 stars, but hey, being beat out by a team on the recruiting trail like Georgia, who's the 2-time national champions, is exactly what you want from your football team. Now, you don't, of course, want to be losing them, but just by battling them and being there for those recruits in the very end, competing for the best of the best players the nation has to offer, trust me, Oregon was in it till the very end. Now, if you want to talk about Elijah Rushing, another prospect that I felt that Oregon was very well in on till the very end, and he goes to Arizona, that might be just a case where he wants to stay closer to home. A lot of these kids, you know, they want to be around their family. Maybe their families want them to stay close to home. You don't know the deal behind the closed doors, you know, and that's also a big hurdle that any Oregon coaches have. It's not just Dan Lanning, okay? If Dan Lanning doesn't, I'm seeing some talk out there on you know, X, I guess what they call it now, Twitter. Oh, if Dan Lanning doesn't sign a 5-star, I got some questions. It's like, hold on a minute, man. Like, you know, geography, Oregon's never historically been a place where 5-star elite kids from the South just come out to. And we've been in them for a lot of years now. Last 5 years, I mean, we've been in them. And geography, man, is a big hurdle for any Oregon coaching staff. Okay, we're all the way out here on the West Coast, and that's just out of their control. Most of the pool of 4 and 5 star kids are coming from the South, and Oregon's all the way out here. So let me give you guys an example, okay? If I'm a 5-star linebacker out in Texas, and I got the option of the 2-time defending champs Georgia, who's basically been an NFL factory for my position, and it's right, it's a flight right over there, right, a couple states over. Or I got Oregon, who's way out there on the West Coast. Probably I've never been out there, right? Georgia, who had 2-time national champs, or Oregon, 0 national championships. I'm most likely going with the Bulldogs. And I'm sorry, and that's not a shot at Oregon, okay? But it's more an example of just let's put our feet in the same shoes as these recruits sometimes, okay? Again, on the outside, it's easy to look at as a fan like, oh, what are these guys doing? Going to Arizona, right? We've got to look at what may have not been in reports and stuff like that, family and stuff. And again, that's not to say I don't expect Dan Lanning to not sign at least one 5-star this class, because look, I do. I really do. Oregon is currently in it for 2 5-stars, and they are a pair of teammates in California, which make this even more interesting because they're right down south in the state where Oregon, gets most of the recruits from, California, plucking them out of that state, and they've been in it consistently for 2 5-stars now. We're going to go ahead and talk about the first one. So first guy we're going to talk about, 6'5", 290-pounder Brandon Baker, who is listed as the nation's current number 1 offensive tackle in the 2024 cycle. Throughout his recruitment, Brandon has been considered an Oregon lean because his older brother, if you guys remember, Gary Baker, played here all the way in 2015. So Brandon Baker grew up watching the Ducks. He's lived it. He's came through, although as he's grown as a recruit and became this, this high caliber player, number 1 offensive tackle in this class, these big time blue blood schools have been creeping in there, and it's not going to be easy for the Ducks to just go out and grab him like it may have seemed just a year ago. Virtually every team in America is recruiting their tails off to get this kid, okay? In a recent interview with Sports Illustrated report Max Torres, Baker said that Baker said when he's looking to commit. He says, quote, sometime between September and October. That's what it's looking like right now, end quote. So, guys, it won't be long until we find out where Baker's heading. It's going to be only a couple months here, sometime in the fall. Looking like he's nearing the end of recruitment. It's looking real good for the Ducks. Now, if you're watching on the podcast and if you're just listening, that's fine. I got a graphic here from On3 Sports, a recruiting industry website. Currently gives Oregon a whopping 89.3% chance to land the elite offensive tackle. And look, that's as of August, Monday, August 21st. So other schools such as Texas, USC, Ohio State are also trying to land Brandon over the Ducks. So look, guys, it's going to be a battle, but as far as On3's telling us, it's looking real good. It's always been looking real good for the Ducks. I've interviewed him when I was working for Scoop Duck for a little bit there. He's always said good things about the Ducks. He always seems excited when the Ducks are brought up. But look, these other blue blood programs have a lot to offer. I'm sure NIL deals are flying his way. This guy is the number 1 offensive tackle in his class. The Ducks are in good shape, though, so be on the lookout for that. The Ducks also have a good chance in landing his teammate, defensive lineman Aiden Breland, 5-star kid who stands 6'5", 290 as well. And look, guys, offensive lineman, defensive lineman, huge position in need for this 2024 class. As we all know, the Ducks, where are they headed? The Big Ten, okay? And they're going to be going against those big, punishing physical lines that those Big Ten teams have to offer. Oregon signed a total of 10 guys, offensive linemen and defensive linemen in 2023. Now, signing the top offensive tackle and defensive lineman on the West Coast in 2024 would be exactly what Dan Lanning and the Ducks need for success in the Big Ten. Now, Breland might have a bit longer timeline than his teammate Brandon Baker's, though. So it gives Oregon a little more time and a little more time to get in his recruitment. He caught up with Max Torres again. Max Torres, shout out to Max, Sports Illustrated reporter. And he was asked about what he was thinking about, about when his commitment's going to be. Aiden said this, quote, still up in the air. We're still trying to figure out the logistics and the place and everything else that goes into that. That's all with that, quote. Me and my family have come down to make it a top 4. It's going to drop pretty soon, And I end quote there. That's what he said. So his top 4 is dropping soon. I have a good feeling that the Ducks going to be in that top 4 because right here, again, I have a graphic from On3 Sports giving us some data. And they have Oregon actually leading this recruitment at a 23.9% chance to land Breland. So not as favorable as it is with Brandon Baker. But look, as Lee Corso might say, I know we're looking good at 23.9%, but look who's right there at second place. As Lee Corso might say, the famous Lee Corso, man, not so fast, my friend. Georgia is right there on the Ducks' heels at 20.9%. That's only a 3% back 3%. We've seen it before. We've seen Georgia come in late and take these recruits. So Oregon is yet in another recruiting battle with the Georgia Bulldogs for an elite defensive recruit. Hopefully this time around, what I'm thinking is distance will play a factor. Okay, look, Oregon is a whole lot closer than Georgia, and Aiden's home is the state of California. Now, if his teammate, I feel like, so if Brandon Baker is going to announce first, I feel like if Brandon Baker chooses the Ducks, I could see him pairing up with Baker and heading to Oregon. I think there's a good chance that happens. Overall, I do see Ducks landing. I do see the Ducks landing these 2 out of Mater Day. These 2 5-star kids. I think Brandon Baker will influence Aiden Breland to come into Oregon, but it's going to be tough. Georgia Bulldogs might get Aiden Breland. I think if you were to put money on either one, you'd want to put your money on Brandon Baker for sure to come to Oregon. He has family ties here. He's always talked well about Oregon. I understand that so these blue blood schools are trying to get after him, but I think his heart is in Oregon. You know what I'm saying? All right. So let's keep it moving on to the meat and potatoes of the podcast. Let's preview this Oregon offense, baby, because you guys know it's going to be real explosive this year. But first, we got to get to this ad read, baby. If you guys want some merch, here it is. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Dominiqk Peterson, host of the Duck Zone 503 podcast, where we talk all things Oregon football. Very excited to announce we just launched our very first merch store. Men's and women's t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, stickers, phone cases, mugs, and cups are all sold at duckzone503.creator-spring.com. If you want to go grab one of those today, that's duckzone503.creator-spring.com. Store link will be in the description below as well. All right, guys, you guys know what to do, baby. Go grab that merch down below. Merch link is down below in the description. Okay. The Oregon offense was certainly special last year under quarterback Bo Nix, man. We loved it as Duck fans. The Ducks put up 36.2 points per game, number 12 in the country, 491 yards per game. That's number 8 in the country. It's something that our former offensive coordinator, Kenny Dillingham, really stressed on this stat right here. 6.9 yards per pass for this Ducks offense. Almost every pass they put up was going for almost 7 yards per play. Man, number 5 in the country, guys. That is called efficiency on the offensive end. Since day one of coming into Oregon, when I was listening to interviews of these new coaches coming in, Kenny Dillingham was one of them last year, he talked about the efficiency on every play and maximizing the yardage on every play, and he did just that. But now look what we got, guys. We got Kenny Dillingham going off to ASU, Arizona State, where he's now the head coach of his alma mater. Congratulations to the guy, man. 32 years old, Kenny Dillingham. Or what I like to call him, as I said this every time we scored last season, Dilly. Kenny Dillingham. But look, guys, in all seriousness, that's one question I have for the Ducks on offense coming into this year is, how does the departure of Kenny Dillingham really affect this Oregon offense? Does the new OC, Will Stein, have it in him to lead this offense's production to go even higher? Or do they decline a little bit? Now, with Bo Nix returning, plus all the offensive weapons around him, I don't expect this Oregon offense to fall off one bit. But here's a stat I like to go look at, to just think about. Let's go back to 2019 when Bo Nix and Kenny Dillingham were at Auburn. Bo Nix had a damn good season in 2019. And look, I know Dillingham didn't call plays at Auburn in 2019, but he was still the quarterback's coach there and also shared the same role here at Oregon. He also called plays as the OC at Oregon, was very successful, as you guys seen. And it's just facts, guys. Nick's best statistical outputs were with Dillingham as his OC and quarterback's coach in 2019 and 2022. So it's going to be interesting to see how the adjustment goes from Kenny Dillingham to Will Stein. So here's Will Stein, guys, right here. Will Stein was the former co-offensive coordinator / quarterback's coach at UTSA in 2022. He likes to also run that pro-style offense that we've seen from Kenny Dillingham. I really don't expect to see very many drastic changes to the offense. Of course, Will Stein is going to add his own little pesto, his own little salt bay of flavor to the offense, just like any offensive coordinator do, but the system should remain the same as the previous year, as UTSA offensive rankings were beautiful last season as well. 35.6 points per game, number 16 in the country. 470 yards per game, number 14 in the country. Third down conversion rate, guys, 50.28%. That's number 8 in the country. And no disrespect to UTSA, but that's putting up those kind of offensive numbers, and let's just be honest here, with lower talented players. Now you're going to hand him the keys to Bo Nix, Bucky Irving, Noah Whittington, Troy Franklin, Tez Johnson, Trayshawn Holden. I can go on and on, guys. No doubt this is going to be absolutely fun to watch. So I think that covers it for, the OC hire. Will Stein in, Kenny Dillingham off to Arizona State. Now let's get into these position groups, okay? I want to talk about 2 for part 1 of the podcast. I don't want to make this video too long for you guys. But let's talk about some good ones. Quarterbacks and running backs. Let's go ahead and start with everybody's favorite position, guys, the quarterbacks, okay? We're going to talk about the departures from last season. When we start off each position group, we're going to talk about who's gone and then who's returning and who's new. So let's start with the departures from last season. Last year's third-string quarterback Jay Butterfield, transferred out to San Jose State. Best of luck to Jay Butterfield, big-time quarterback with a big-time arm. With the talent we have, and Bo Nix returning and the way recruiting's looking, he needs to go somewhere and play. And I have no doubt San Jose, he's going to go there and be successful. But you guys already know who returns for 2023, guys. Come on now. I ain't even got to say it. Bo Nix, the dark horse, Heisman contender, enters his second year with the Ducks after a career statistical output last season. 3,595 yards, 29 passing touchdowns, 14 on the ground, 71%. Let me repeat that, 71% completion percentage rating. Simply put, a very, very great season. And to be honest, did anybody really see a season like that coming from Bo Nix? Man, it was awesome to see as a Duck fan, to shut up all his haters around the country. We heard it all, right? We heard it all. Bo Nix ain't nothing, man. He's Auburn, man. He ain't gonna do nothing, especially after the Georgia game. Yeah, we heard it all from the country. The national media, oh yeah, Bo Nix, we're gonna have to see who else. Ty Thompson, let's get Ty. I heard some Duck fans saying that. But look, man, he's also just a very respectful young man who leads by example. I think that's why you see the program embrace him so much, along with the community of Eugene. Another big reason why he returned for his second year is that at home, he has that at-home feel here in Eugene, Oregon. I think that's another big reason for that success that we saw last year was his very, very efficient O-line he had in front of him. The Oregon O-line only allowed 5 sacks last season. That's number 1 in all of college football. Paired with Nix's mobility and his legs to escape pressure, it was almost impossible for defenses to bring Nix to the ground. Now, that offensive line for Nix that protected him so well looks to replace 4 starters entering 2023. But he has some familiar faces to take on bigger roles and also made some big-time splashes in the transfer portal for some more depth and reinsurance thanks to Dan Lanning and staff. Now, we're going to have to talk about the O-lines part in part 2 edition of the offensive preview, so stay tuned for that in the next edition of the podcast. But look, getting Nix back for another year will absolutely be vital for Oregon's success in 2023. I expect Bo Nix to have a big year in 2023 as he will have all the weapons around him to do so. A dark horse for that Heisman, it's going to be fun to watch Bo Nix. Now, the big thing for Bo Nix, I got to say, coming into next season is he just has to stay healthy. Because man, oh man, who we're going to talk about next? Ty Thompson. Okay, the Ducks return their main backup quarterback from last season, Ty Thompson. Some Duck fans have given up on him already. Some, are big on Ty Thompson. Some are still some big fans and believe that he just hasn't had the chance. There's 2 camps, and they're pretty divided, let me tell you, in this fan base. Me personally, I tend to lean on the fence of let's give him some long-term meaningful reps at quarterback before we make a final judgment on the young man. But hey, look, I also understand the other side of things and the other side of the argument. In this day of college football, coaches and especially fans don't really have the patience as they did maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago as they do now to develop a kid to his full potential. A lot of win now over development has been the slow attitude change in college football over the years. Now, last season completed 11 of 20 passes backing up Nix. And let's not forget, fairly impressive showing in that spring game. He went 16 of 34, 274 yards, and he had dropped two touchdowns in that game. So, not bad, right? He had a little bit of a slow start. I'll give you guys that, who are arguing, hey, man, shut up, right? He had a little bit of a slow start. But when he got able to settle in and got comfortable, right, he was able to make those proper progressions and drop the ball where it needed to be. And that's what I want to see more of as a Duck fan, okay? Because we all know once Bo Nix is gone after this season, we're going to need Ty Thompson to be that guy, or we're going to have to get a transfer portal quarterback, or we're looking to a young guy. And I don't think that's where you want to be if you're trying to be a successful program. Now, I expect Ty Thompson to be a solid and trustworthy quarterback to Bo Nix. But in the case of Nix going down, do I think Ty Thompson is ready to be quarterback 1 in 2023? Like, if, let's say Bo Nix tears his ACL week 1. God, knock on wood, he does not. But, let's say Ty Thompson, is he ready? Absolutely not. Okay, so I really hope Nix stays healthy all year and can develop, tie in to that starting quarterback for that 2024 campaign. If we just throw him out to the Wolves, I don't think Ty is ready. But another year under Nick's development, another offseason of spring ball, another fall camp, another lifting weights. He's been in the program at that moment in 2024. He'll be here for a while now. If he doesn't have quarterback 1 position locked up by 2024, I mean, he deserves it not to have it. I'm just saying. All right, let's move on to the third quarterback in the room here. We got the young kid, Austin Novostad, 4-star quarterback out of Dripping Springs, Texas, is the newest member of this year's quarterback room for the Ducks. The freshman stands 6'3", 185 pounds, and has a noticeably slender frame. But the good thing is, he won't need to produce right away, okay? He'll have a whole year of college lifting program to get him right where he needs to be. I have no doubt that the Wilson Love lifting program and his dieting is going to get this guy bulked up for the seasons to come. Now, the 247 Sports Composite ranking lists Novostad as the 13th best quarterback in the country and a top 100 recruit who earned Prep All-American honors. So landing Austin shortly after the announcement of the return of Bo Nix for a second year, and we all remember the flip at that time, 5-star Oregon commit. Oregon was locked in with Dante Moore, right? He's a UCLA guy now. I just think it was such a great move by that coaching staff to flip on a dime and land Novostad. And we all remember we flipped him from Baylor, and Baylor was all in on Austin Novostad. That was their Dante Moore. And on a flip of a dime, we're able to land him in the class of 2023. So that was awesome to see. Great recruiting backup move from the Oregon coaching staff there. Now, I interviewed Austin. There's a video on my channel, guys, if you want to search it up. Austin Novostad interview, Duck Zone 503. Put that in the search bar. Great kid, solid verbal communicator as a young kid. It was great opportunity to meet him for a little bit. I also got to take a picture of him and see his family for a little bit on the field. Austin Novostad, man, I expect this year to be a developmental year for him. Having a veteran quarterback like Bo Nix, who I think he has the most starts under his belt as a college football quarterback in 2023. It's a great leader to have to develop right under. So in all honesty, I'd like to see the Ducks redshirt Austin Novostad if they can. We want to see him at, maybe QB1 next year, if at best QB2. But I think redshirting him lets him keep that year and to keep developing down the line. So that's going to be great, man. He's real slender right now, but this kid, man, has the talent. He came in as a top 100 recruit. So my thoughts on this position group overall is this group will obviously be led by quarterback Bo Nix. So it's a strong position, maybe the strongest position group on the team here, led by Bo Nix. And unless, knock on wood, an injury happens, it's going to be a great year for Nix and to get Ty Thompson ready for 2024 and then to develop the young guy Austin Novostad behind him. Okay, moving on. We're going pretty fast here. Look at that, guys. We're already on the running backs, the final segment of the show. I always love previewing the running back room because it seems the Ducks always have about 1, 2, or even sometimes 3 very, very good running backs on this roster. As you know, I like to call Oregon literally running back you, okay? We probably won't be number 1 or 2 or 3 in college football, but hey, man, we're top 5 for sure in all-time running backs, producing running backs here at Oregon. From the likes of Jonathan Stewart, LaMichael James, Kenyon Barner, DeAnthony Thomas, the list goes on and on and on, guys. Duck fans, hop in the comments. You guys can continue the list. Oregon has a strong track record of producing some great college football running backs. So the departures from this room last season, there was a couple. We have Byron Cardwell, who transferred to the Cal Bears. Sean Dollars transferred to the Nevada Wolfpack. Both players were definitely fan favorites and some notable, some definitely notable recruits coming into the program. Best of luck to them, as I know they'll get some definite great opportunities at their next stop. Let's go ahead and look to returns for 2023. Running back position coach Carlos Lachlan looks to lead the running back room and appears to be one of the strongest and deepest groups on the team this year. The Ducks return all of their starting production from the previous season, along with some young and very talented additions to the room. Bucky Irving. Let's start here, guys. I have him on the screen here. Let's start with one of my favorite running backs in a while here at Oregon, and he was a breakout player in 2022. Bucky Irving, the junior, is standing 5'10", 194 pounds, and possesses a very shifty / ground and pound style at the running back position. His balance and vision make him a very dangerous runner. The previous Minnesota transfer carried the ball 156 times for 1,058 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns on the ground, along with 31 catches, 299 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns in the passing game for the Ducks. You guys want to know what makes a great running back a great running back? What makes you an all first-team Pac-12 player like Bucky is being versatile at the running back position. This guy can block. If you put on the highlight reel, the film, and watch how he blocks for his quarterbacks, lays it all out on the line. You watch how he can go out there and be a wide receiver, put him out there in the slot, go catch some balls out there, run some routes. He's excellent at that. You watch how he runs. The first guy isn't bringing him down. Go watch every highlight reel of Bucky Irving. Go watch the first guy, and he's not bringing him down. Doesn't matter how big he is. Doesn't matter if he's right in front of him. He's not bringing Bucky Irving down. It takes the whole team to bring Bucky Irving down. And I expect him to have that star running back role alongside with Nix and have another 1,000-yard season. Anything short of that will be a little underachieving in my opinion. Okay, you can't be named first team all Pac-12 and then not put up better stats, if not even better numbers than that previous season. So with a new O-line and no offensive coordinator calling plays, it's going to be interesting to how that plays into the recipe of Irving's success in 2023. We talk about how that's going to play into Bo Nix's success. Well, these guys need that O-line just as much as Bo Nix does. So that's going to be interesting. All right, let's move into running back number 2, guys. Noah Whittington, Bucky's partner in crime, number 2 back on the depth chart, but only recorded, okay? He's listed as number 2, but he only recorded 17 fewer carries than Irving. So it's not like Bucky is out here doing all the damage last season. No, guys. Noah was out there bashing and thrashing as well. A big question mark for the fans heading in 2022 was Whittington simply, how much opportunities was Whittington going to get? Because he's coming over from that Western Kentucky system. And that system had one of the nation's leading pass offenses in the country. So it was a big question, fans, okay? He didn't get a lot of opportunities coming from Western Kentucky. What is he really going to do here? And boy, oh boy, did he impress the Duck fans. On 139 carries, Noah Whittington put up 779 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns last season. Now, he's the shortest back in the room, but don't let height fool you here. This guy comes in like a bell whistle, coming through that O-line. 5'8", 194 pounds. He's going to lay the lumber on you. He may also be the fastest back in the room as well. Noah Whittington may not have many headlines when transferring to Oregon, but this Carlos Lachlan made back has proven to be a very reliable running back for the Ducks entering 2023. I expect Noah Whittington to give that running back room that classic Oregon 1-2 punch that they've always given team throughout the years. The Ducks have always had 1, 2, maybe even 3 great running backs on that roster when they're at their top level. Having Noah back for a second year will be absolutely huge for the Ducks. All right, let's head to running back 3 in the room here. We got Jordan James. It's going to be year 2 for him at Oregon, the former 4-star running back. We all remember who he flipped from, the hometown Bulldogs, flipping from Georgia to Oregon late in his recruitment. That was a nice get for Dan Lanning and the Ducks. James was a solid piece to the Oregon backfield last season, playing in 9 of 13 games on the schedule. Now, he was mainly used as that short yardage back near the goal line. 5'10", 200 pounds. James is still, one of those bigger sized backs in the room. So using him in that Kenny Dillingham famous, some people call it that 14J package, that involves big offensive tackle Josh Connolly Jr. enters year 2 near that goal line. That was just an absolutely golden package in that goal line for 2022. So I expect Jordan to have a kind of a similar role there as that goal line running back while developing under year 2 under stars Bucky and Noah, who's going to get the majority of the running of the carries. So big year for Jordan James up ahead as he gets some carries here, and he's going to keep developing. I like what I saw last year from him. Very physical runner. All right, new addition to the room, newcomer and early enrollee, freshman Dante Dowdell joins the Ducks with a lot of fanfare surrounding his name, and for good reason, guys. The former 4-star prospect out of Mississippi was ranked as the 9th best running back in the country by 247 Sports Composite ranking. Dowdell finished his senior season with 2,165 yards and 31 touchdowns on 8.4 yards per carry. Guys, I'm going to just, for good sake, so you can lock these numbers in your brain for a second, repeat these unrealistic video game numbers that he did. In his senior season, one season, 2,000. This is not his high school career. This is one season. 2,165 yards, 31 touchdowns on 8.4 yards per carry. His high school career, guys, 5,301 yards rushing on 65 touchdowns, average 8 yards per carry, almost a first down every time he touched the ball. This guy is the real deal. Okay, a highly decorated player coming in. He won back-to-back state titles at Picayune Maroon Tide, was named MVP in both those title games, and took home Mississippi 5A Mr. Football Award. Standing 6'2", 210 pounds, as a freshman, I had to look at that real quick, 210 pounds. The Ducks are adding another big frame running back to this room. Having comparisons of Derrick Henry by scouts has me and many other Duck fans very excited to watch this young man in the next few years or so. Bam, Dante Dowdell, big running back coming into the room. That wasn't the only new running back, okay? Last but not least here, we got freshman newcomer Jaden Lamar, okay? Another early enrollee in this year's class. Lamar is ready to work as a Duck. Another 4-star signee out of the state of Washington. He has good size at the position, standing 5'11", 190 pounds. It's always great. It's always good. I always say this. It's always great to love those. Get those 4-star recruits. Snag them right out of Husky territory, baby. Huck the Fuskies. Dubs down on the podcast. You guys know what's going on. Listed as the nation's number 18th running back and 4th best overall prospect in the state of Washington, according to 247 Sports Composite rankings. This guy is the real deal. According to Brandon Huffman of 247 Sports, he is projection as a Power 5 starter. And I quote, Lamar is a smooth runner. He has good vision, sees the holes, can shed tackles and churn out yards after contact, but can also stick his foot in the dirt and turn it upfield and go. Lamar is also a plus receiver out of the backfield. He is well built with good wiggles and shiftiness with a frame that should add some more weight. He does a good job anticipating his linemen clearing the way, being decisive in the hole selection, putting his foot in the ground and getting upfield. Lamar sees the field extremely well, runs with good balance, and can get yards after contact. He does a good job of churning out tough yards, can continue to get stronger with speed already there. So, look, guys, personally, though, I don't expect much out of Lamar this season, just because how much talent is in front of the dude. But look, because of that level of competition that's ahead of him, this Duck running back room is absolutely stacked and loaded more than it's been in a while. It will be hard for me to see Lamar to probably get any reps this year on the field. But again, like I kind of said with Austin Novosad, I think this is a year of development for him, getting bigger. As you've seen in Brandon Huffman's scouting report, they want him to get bigger, very shifty and elusive back. But I also think that he could maybe get on the field because he offers something the Ducks don't have back there. A lot of these our backs are kind of big and beefy. Bucky and Noah. Noah's kind of shifty and that big back. So Jaden, in the coming years, when maybe Noah and Bucky are gone, adds that shifty and elusive back that Noah Whittington once was, and they're kind of developing him, Jaden Lamar, for that in the future. Because they already got Dante Dow, they got Jordan James, right? Back there, those are big backs for the goal line and stuff like that. But Jaden Lamar, he offers that shiftiness. So if we're able to maybe redshirt him, that's what I would prefer if I was the coach. But I'm just a guy on a podcast, right? What do I know? But it would be nice for him to redshirt and develop in this year. Now, my thoughts on the position group overall on this group. Like I said, guys, this running back room for Carlos Lachlan has put together is one of the most talented and one of the most deepest that Oregon has put together in quite some time. The star pairing of Bucky Irving and Noah Whittington will highlight the room in 2023, while the three young running backs behind them can continue to develop for the coming years. Carlos Lachlan, easily, guys, my favorite coach on this staff. He took the time to speak with me and grab a picture with me after the spring game. So, great guy personally, who's absolutely, loved, and just absolutely if I was a college football player, that's the guy I'd go play for, man. Every time I watch him in interviews, I just want to run through a wall for him as a fan. And as a player, I can't imagine how much love he has for his players and how much love his players have for him. So, guys, in the comment section here, I want you guys to get involved here. What should we name? I've been thinking about this. Bucky Irving and Noah Whittington, that combo is going to be absolutely electric. So we're going to need a name. What combo are we going to give the best college football running back room? What name are we going to give them? Okay, we're going to need a name here. Bucky Irving, Noah Whittington, that combo. We're going to need a nickname. Give me your best nickname in the comments below. That's what we're going to need, baby. Other than that, guys, I really appreciate everybody tuning in. We're going to have a part 2 of the offensive previews. Then we're going to move on to the defensive previews. Pretty soon, I'm going to give you my schedule predictions for the Oregon Ducks in 2023. And then by that time, guess what, guys? We're going to be at week 1. And I'm going to be giving you guys vlogs at the games that I'm at. Right there, the whole game experience from the drive there to the tailgate to the game to after the game. I give you the whole game day experience. We're going to have preview and prediction episodes, recap and analysis episodes. So if you want to be tuned in and locked in with the Duck Zone 503 podcast where we talk all things Oregon football, go hit that like and subscribe button down below, guys. As always, I'm your host, Dominiqk Peterson. I'll see you in the next one. Episodes every Monday and Wednesday every week. Lock in with me.